Good morning, my dear students. Here I am with another short video trying to explain some basic terms that we use in the study of this elastic property of a body. This is for class 11. Okay. So the basic thing is like this: elasticity. What is elasticity? And the second one is, what is plasticity here? Elasticity refers ability or the property of the body that can regaining its original shape and size after you remove the deforming force. Suppose here is a body here. You try to expand it using some force. So after you apply a force, let us say the shape is changing now. So it's like pulling out, okay? Then once you stop pulling, the body can quickly regain its original shape and size, and that type of body is said to be elastic body. All right? And plasticity, in the case of plasticity, suppose that this is the object, you try to change the shape by pulling out like this. Let us say it has permanently changed like this. And even though you remove the force, the body is not able to come back to the initial shape and size. Then that type of body will be called as what? Plastic body. And that property is known as plasticity. Alright. So elasticity refers property of a body that can regain its original shape, okay, and size on removing the deforming force. So that property is what we call as the elasticity, or removing the deforming force. On the other hand, plasticity, the same thing you have to write. Property of a body that, this time you have to say that cannot, okay, cannot regain its original shape and size on removing the deforming force. So the type of body will be called as a plastic body. All right. And here are some more terms that you need to add up here. The terms like elastic after effect. Let us see what is this elastic after effect. Suppose you'll find sometimes you'll find that when you bend a body here, suppose that this is the body or some rod or plastic or some any object here, just take like this, you just start bend like this, bend it. Once you bend it, sometimes the body find very difficult to regain its shape. Suppose actually if you bend like this, it has to come along this along this shape. It's not along this. It should be able to come back to the initial shape like this. But sometimes the body takes a lots of time to come back to the initial shape and size like this. Okay, so there is a delay. All right, there is a delay in regaining the original shape and size of the body on removing the deforming force. That is what we call as the elastic after effect. So it is we can call it delay. Okay, in regaining the shape and size on removing the deforming force. So that delay is what we call as the elastic after effect. And sometimes you'll come across this term that is known as elastic fatigue. Okay, let me tell you what is that. Elastic fatigue means very, very tired, no? Sometimes the body totally loses its elastic property due to repeated bending. Suppose this is a plastic material, let's say, you keep on bending many times, like left, right, keep on bending, 100 times, 1,000 times, like that. Finally, what the body will lose elastic property. So that complete loss in the strength of the elastic property is what we call as the elastic fatigue. So you can say like this: it is the loss of strength of the material due to repeated stress and strain. Repeated stress means what? The force you apply is the stress. Last time I told you, okay? Because stress is equal to what? Force by area. So in short, you can call it stress as the force you apply. And strain is the change in the shape. Suppose if I bend this one, I apply some force. That force is the stress. And the pen will be changing its shape. It's not changing the shape is known as what? Strain here. So if you do that repeatedly many times, like 100 times, 1,000 times, then we call it as the one? Repeated stress and strain. So if you do that, the body loses elastic property, and this is what we call as the elastic fatigue. Okay? All right. And there will be some factors that affect the elasticity. So there will be some factors affecting elastic property here. Let me send the note, but just for explanation, let me tell you that, hammering is not like hitting the body. For example, say if you go to the blacksmith here, the blacksmith keep on hitting the body all the time, hitting like that, and sometimes rolling like this. It's not that rolling. So rolling and hammering, it affects the elastic property. So if you do that, hammering and rolling, if you do that repeatedly, it increases elastic property. Don't forget this. So hammering and rolling increases the elastic property. All right. And there is another one. This is known as what? Annealing. Annealing here. Annealing means hit the material to a very high temperature and then cooling it. Okay. So if you do that, heating and cooling, you heat it to a very high temperature, cooling again. It means that if you do that, that is known as annealing, and that decreases elastic property. So we don't want that, okay, actually. If you want to make the body lose elastic property, you can do that. Annealing is heating to a very high temperature, then what? Cooling it again. Then another one is that if temperature increases, then what? The body loses elastic property. This is the reason why we don't want materials that has already burned. Okay, like a vehicle already burned means that the vehicle will be losing elastic property. It means that it become weaker. Okay.